Hello and welcome to CX Today. My name is Charlie and I'm bringing you the latest video in our CX Trends series. And for this, I'm delighted to be joined by Todd Unger, the Chief Experience Officer at the American Medical Association. Thanks very much for joining me today, Todd. How are you doing?
It's a pleasure. I'm doing great. Beautiful day here in Chicago, and thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, it's great. It's great to have you join us, and I'm excited to have this conversation where we're going to be discussing trends around the customer journey and customer journey design. And in doing so, we'll kind of refer back to your new book called The 10-Second Customer Journey. But what I really want to start this conversation is by referring back, as I said, referring back to that book. And you cite kind of the main enemy in today's customer environment as friction, customer journey friction. Can you maybe tell us a little bit about what you mean by that and how you see that friction being tamed?
Sure. When you think about the digital environment today, and maybe just go to an experience you might have had this morning as you were looking at things online, and something kind of caught your eye, and maybe you read through whatever that ad was. It could have just been a digital ad or a social post, you name it. And then you followed it all the way through, and all of a sudden, it's in your shopping cart. You autofill all the information, click, boom, and you're done. That's a description of what I call the 10-second customer journey today. And to make that happen, a lot of things and a lot of people work together to eliminate anything that might delay you from starting from I see it to I got it. I often refer to Ariana Grande's lines in Seven Rings. I see it, I like it, I want it, I got it. And you think about all the steps that go along that way. Anything that takes you out of that journey, any kind of friction can send a customer packing and perhaps forever. And so the job really is to eliminate all friction from that moment when you conceive that you want something, maybe even before you even know it, all the way through when you've got it in your hands.
Excellent. And yeah, that's the first time I've had an Ariana Grande quote in one of my interviews, but I liked it. I liked it a
It's
lot.
the CX theme song, sometimes I say.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I think that's a really great description of kind of the enemy, as you termed it, of friction within the customer experience. Can you maybe talk about how customer experience teams like yours at the American Medical Association can reduce such friction, and what maybe technologies can play a part within that?
Sure. And we've built our CX team from the ground up about 5 years ago. And I'm just a shout out to the team that's here at AMA, and to everybody else who's out there thinking about building or growing their CX team. We're 5 to 7 years in, and we've got just as many awards and recognition for the work that's gone on because the results are so terrific. We designed our CX team to be directly affiliated with the growth engine. And so it grew out of our brand strategy, and we've developed our CX strategy to deliver the promise of what this brand looks like. And it's been an incremental process and a growth process where we've been building the infrastructure. But the great thing about the CX team is they're embedded within marketing, and customer service is also closely related to the group and part of the group. And so we've had kind of a global eye toward building out what that infrastructure looks like. A lot of times people talk about CX technology, and I think there are specific CX technologies out there, but I think about it as a set of digital technologies that together can be used to improve customer experience. And when I say customer experience, I mean the seamless integration of marketing, product, commerce, and service. And so, those functionalities and those kind of testing platforms can include things like your A/B testing platform, any kind of testing that you do on your commerce platform, and things that facilitate and automate customer service. I'd say one of our favorite implementations, or my favorite implementations over the last couple of years, has been with Quantum Metric. This is a particular technology that's allowed us to scale the collection and identification of friction across all of our digital platforms and cut off that diagnosis time because we're not waiting for someone to call in and report a problem. It's already been identified. There's already a kind of a flag as to where the problem is occurring, and it's cut down the time that it takes to identify, predict, and eliminate friction in our process dramatically.
Yeah, and I think what actually really stood out for me across your answer there was just the collaboration that happens between all of the customer-facing departments. Obviously, you mentioned marketing and service and sales, and traditionally they're so siloed. Yet, but through collaboration, there's so much room to improve customer experience, as you're seeing at the AMA.
Yeah, and I'd say it's more than collaborate. It's like collaboration is a very loosely used word. I really like the term. I read a book on collaboration where it really defines it as productive collaboration, which is where everyone is very aware of the goal, and the goal is driving the collaboration. It's not just for the sake of working with each other. I have a particular initiative that we work on here that just kind of demonstrates how the process has changed for us in terms of where CX fits into the picture. We have an online learning platform for a segment of our audience out there, and by establishing the goal for my product team as let's just say course completions relative to other metrics, we've been able to say, why isn't that keeping up relative to the number of users that have been added to the program? Now, in the past, I would have gone to the product team and like, tell me what the answer is. And they don't necessarily have a complete view, because the problems that could get in the way could be everything from like, I can't log in, to I don't like the course. So instead of going to the product team, I'm dropping in my CX team on that. And they are the ones that are leading and putting together the appropriate team to identify what all the potential problems are, to create the journey maps and the customer blueprints, and use that set of CX tools and build the team around that. So we've identified all the things, all those points of frictions that stand in the way, and then have a plan to get them taken care of.
Yeah, I like that term, productive collaboration. I think it's great, and also
I want to give a shout out to Morten Hansen wherever he is. He's the author of that particular book. It made a big difference to embrace that kind of definition.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think the concept is great. How you can have kind of key stakeholders, users, or employees from across each of those departments collaborating together through. But more than just kind of having a team meeting, but with set kind of workflows and set duties to perform together. I think there's a lot of merit to that. And kind of, I do want to delve deeper into some of the strategies that you maybe recommend within your book too. So I don't know, maybe if you could give us like your top 2 or 3 practical strategies for marketeers looking to modernize kind of their customer and content experience.
Well, let's talk about the content experience. I think there's a lot there. If you've ever worked in marketing or any kind of content operations, you've probably heard someone or had them come to you and say, like, I want to do a video, I want to do a podcast. There's a heavy emphasis on tactics in the world of content. And I think the number one place is to realize this is about growth and about meeting your growth objectives. And so your content platform, or what I refer to in the book as the storytelling platform, is a scientific platform engineered to deliver growth. And it has to be approached that way. I call it the 6S platform: site, your website, search, social, spend, streaming, and subscriptions. And you've got to construct that storytelling platform so that all of the pieces of that storytelling platform are working together to drive growth. Each one has its own role in the equation. Each one has a set of measurements and metrics that are attached to it, but it has to be viewed as a growth system and not as just a chance to create content for content's sake. I will just kind of preface that saying we are on the kind of precipice of yet another change in how this is done. I mean, that the way that our content marketing operation works right now, is to a certain extent a little bit in jeopardy through AI and through the changes that are occurring in search. I just posted something on LinkedIn the other day where I revealed one of my searches, not to be too personal, which is I saw something about pandas and I just typed into Google, "Are pandas dangerous?" And I got one of those AI summaries up at the top, and it basically said, yes, they're like grizzly bears, so don't mess with them. But I didn't need to go anywhere else
Mm.
to get additional information. I didn't need to click on a sites. In fact, they were kind of blurred out. And this was even scarier to me as a content marketer than meeting a grizzly like panda, because we depend on Google to drive huge amounts of organic traffic, and our funnel is set up to deliver it that way. And
Mm.
so when we think about just yet another disturbance in the force that is upon us, this is here, and we need to begin to think about how we're going to deal with this.
Mm. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, even from our perspective as a publication, it's something that we're thinking about too. But let's if we look out towards the future, what sort of role do you kind of envision content having within a successful, seamless customer journey?
Well, I'll tell you, it's hugely important. For us at the American Medical Association, where I'm the chief experience officer, a big part of our marketing issue is about making sure that people know what we're working on, making sure that they know the progress that we're bringing to the table to, really provide the foundation for why you should join. And a lot of that must be accomplished through content.
Mm.
And so we have looked at that success platform that I talked about, and we use that as the way to uh, communicate with our audience, whether they're members or non-members, and then make sure that there's an understanding of the value that we're bringing to the table. And I think no matter who you are in this ecosystem, there's a big value to using content to drive your funnel, and of course to keep people connected to the brand and coming back. When I think about the definition of experience, and this was something that I had to contend with when I started, because I'm not running McDonald's, I'm not running a theme park. There is no, there's not like a lot of quote live events where these kind of typical things that we associate with customer experience are happening. This is all happening in the digital world. And as I say, like, you can't smell a hamburger through a website. You have to deliver that same level of customer experience and connectedness through your digital platforms. A key area of that, of course, is removing the friction that's involved in, for us, signing up and enjoying your benefits.
Mm. And you gave a great example earlier of how you're doing that through your quantum metrics initiatives too. I don't know if you have any other thoughts on which technologies brands can use to deliver such results moving forward in CX.
Yeah, I think a lot of times when you think about kind of visionary things or where we're going to be down the road, they always say, like, kind of look at where things are right now and then kind of project about what might happen there. Is it trying to guess, like, oh, 20 years out? I mean, who knows? We might all have mental telepathy or something like that. But I look at it now and say, obviously, AI is what, hot and moving at a pace maybe none of which could have expected. But when you think about, I think where the power is, it's the combinations of the technologies that we have on the table now. So what happens when AI meets, something that is like quantum metric, which is already machine learning based in and of itself, meets your marketing automation system, meets your kind of behavioral analytics engine, and starts to do what I think is the experience for a lot of people right now, which is those things operate a little bit separately, and there's a lot of manual back and forth to feed one engine the results of the other. The big change is going to come when AI begins to power the automation of the complete system.
Mm.
And that's going to be a boon for marketers in terms of understanding their audiences better, understanding the behaviors, delivering more powerful and personalized experiences to them, and doing that thing that's going to be, only a system like that can do, which is to identify, predict, and eliminate friction at every level.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, already you're starting to see that a little bit with like recent releases from Salesforce and HubSpot. You're seeing kind of automated workflows run between different departments too, between service and marketing and sales, and it's going to be fascinating to see that evolution, and of course, kind of the continued role of AI too. I mean, we had to mention it at some point, didn't we? But we got far in with this interview compared to most of those that I speak to, and I think there's been lots of really great lessons for me to take away from this interview, Todd. But I don't know. Maybe I'll close off with one final question. I don't know if there's kind of maybe tell us why we should go ahead and order the 10-second customer journey.
I think uh, anyone who is interested or responsible for driving growth, and I'm going to say everyone is responsible for doing that. This book is going to combine the best of old school marketing know how and modern digital savvy power. And those are the two components that need to come together to deliver customer experience in the digital age. So I encourage you to buy the book. The playbook will go from end to end of that Ariana Grande spectrum that I talked about at the beginning. And I think you'll really enjoy how it brings it all together.
Awesome, absolutely. Yeah, as I said, Todd, it was been a really conversation. I think that's a great place to end it. So thanks very much for joining me today.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And also, thanks to everybody for watching. Bye for now.